All right, I'll finish up with very few teams ever sweep in the finals. It's kind of historic. How important was that to you guys with the sweep to leave the exclamation mark on that?
It's a mood. It's definitely a mood, for sure.
Amazing. The Warriors parade going live as we speak, and Draymond rocking the Arthur Fist shirt with 3 rings on it. Amin, are you here for the shade?
I thought that was LeBron's hand. I thought that was a swelling in the LeBron's hand.
Now.
Is that too much?
Right? The quickie shirt from last year?
Yeah.
You kind of knew this was happening.
I like the shirt wars that's going on.
Right.
You know, when LeBron had the Ultimate Warrior shirt when he won. That's really fun. I like it. It's fun. Oh.
Welcome indeed to The Jump. I'm Rachel Nichols. Our insider Amin Elhassan is here. 6-time champ Scottie Pippen is going to be joining us in a little bit. And I'm sorry, can we shout out the parades?
I was like, why are you
today?
dressed like that? And then I realized the Capitals are having their parade today.
By the way, please, not right now because you should be watching our show, but eventually go look at the pictures online of the entire National Mall covered in Caps fans. I am so proud of my hometown, proud of that team. And anyone who is sick of the celebrating, hold on to your takes, wait 44 years, and then you can tell me, because that is how long it has been since the Stanley
You're recycling your tweets
visited
now.
Washington. I am so done with people complaining about this. Just enjoy it. Soak it in. Soak it in, people. All right, so the Warriors also spending today partying. I mean, not Alex Ovechkin level partying, because number one, things are different when it's your 3rd trophy in 4 years, and number 2, no one else has that man's liver. Still, it's a fun day up in Oakland, complete with some Steph shimmying, Draymond delivering shade via T-shirt, and Nick Young, well, I can't explain exactly what the bathrobe blazer thing that he's wearing today is, but the very fact that we can now throw around the phrase NBA champion Swaggy P is probably enough just in itself. Of course, along with the confetti being thrown around at these kinds of parades, we're getting plenty of speculation tossed around, too. And just about how far this Warriors dynasty is going to extend, what that means for the rest of the league. And here are the nuts and bolts. Kevin Durant has already said he plans to re-sign with Golden State.
Who did he say that to?
He said that to me. So he is staying there for at least another year. That's good. You can be my hype man anytime, I mean. The whole rest of the Warriors core already under contract, and it's been reported Klay Thompson would even consider signing an extension this summer, which would allow the Warriors to pay him about $85 million less than if he waits until his free agency the following year. Whether that happens or not, the Warriors have also said they intend to get younger and more flexible with their role players, with the idea of being better equipped to fend off the kind of attack they faced from Houston during these playoffs. Oh, and they may just also flat out lift one of the Rockets' players as well. Trevor Ariza set to become a free agent this summer, and there is already reporting that he may be willing to sign with Golden State and take a discount to do that as well.
Light years.
I mean, if that happens, if the Warriors really pick off yet another key player from the opponent who most recently threatened them, just kind of like they did with KD in Oklahoma City a few years ago, geez. I mean, I keep thinking of that old sci-fi movie, The Blob.
Wow,
right?
Look at that
where
poster.
the goo just eats up everything in its path, and as it eats it, it makes it grow bigger and bigger and stronger. Is that what we're destined for in the NBA? And if so, would that be such a bad thing? We know dynasties draw in casual fans. Back in the 80s, a struggling NBA revived itself on the backs of the Lakers and the Celtics. In the 90s, the league flourished thanks to, the Chicago Bulls. You know how everyone right now is asking if the Warriors are ruining the NBA? Well, guess what? Here's the cover of Sports Illustrated from 1997. Same concerns in the moment right there. And of course now we look back at that time as one of the golden eras of basketball. Look, nobody knows what the future is going to hold. We could see another super team forming around LeBron James this summer. That could take the Warriors down. Maybe Boston or Houston, they already have enough to do it themselves. But Steph and KD will only be 30 years old by the time next season starts. It is easy to imagine Golden State throwing a lot more parades, and I am as interested in watching how they manage to keep this together as I am in watching how the rest of the league tries to rip it apart. So we are now joined, indeed, by Scottie Pippen. Welcome.
Hey.
And you are Mr. Dynasty, of course. But I do want to ask you about this because dynasties break up over two things, either ego or money, right? That ego, by the way, could belong to the front office, too. I'm just saying. The Warriors team.
Exactly.
Not in the Warriors case.
No, in a different case. In a different case.
That's
We're not
all
going to
I'm
say
saying.
which case.
The Warriors do seem okay on the ego front right now, including up through the front office. The money, though, that's the thing. So there's reporting, you heard me just say, Clay, if he signed the extension, that would shave about $85 million off what the max is he could get the following summer.
Wow.
Owner Joe Lacob told Ramona Shelburne he would like to sign Draymond to an extension this summer, too. That would mean he would take a significant pay cut from what he could get in a couple years. Should these players even consider this? Because you've been in that position of wanting to keep everything together, but at what cost?
Well, I think winning is fun and it's enjoyable and it's something that you want to last forever when you're in the game, when you're going through your career. But ultimately, it's about you getting yourself financially stable in the game. And I think that's the way players see the game today because the money is so big, even for the 12th guy on the team. So I think it's important for the players to really evaluate their career. You can't compare a lot of guys' careers to Kevin Durant or LeBron because those guys make so much more from endorsements, shoe deals. But for the other players, I think it's important for them to make the right decision financially and not really focus on just the championships.
Yeah, there's no old-timers league, right? There's not like the PGA where you can keep playing until you're 60 or whatever.
Right.
You have a window of time where you got to make as much money as you can. We're not talking about, hey, take less money so that we can get Kevin Durant next year or whoever. We're talking about take less money so Joe Lacob and Peter Guber could take home more money, right? That's what we're talking about.
So this is about, and we were talking about this a little bit before the show. I just want you to fully explain to people. It's about luxury tax and repeater tax.
Right. So here's the thing. The NBA's collective bargaining agreement, the luxury tax, the repeater tax, is in place because they don't want people spending money and having super teams by buying talent, right?
Because you can keep re-upping your own players.
Yes.
It's a soft cap. So you can keep re-upping your own players. You can pay them kind of as much as the market demands.
But they're going to make it hurt you to pay. You're going to have to pay a lot. So I was telling you this earlier, that there's a great chance in the next couple of years that they're going to win titles and be losing money. Even when they move to that new building, they'll still be losing money. But the idea is...
I don't know if I believe that.
No, I'm just talking about fiscal year.
Right.
They're going to make less money than they're going to spend on this team. But here's the thing. They bought that team for $400 million. It's worth billions now.
Right.
At some point, they'll make it up. But Draymond Green, Klay Thompson, they take a pay cut.
They can't make it up.
They can't make it up down the line.
Right.
That money's gone forever. And so, to me, if I'm them, unless you're telling me, hey, if you take less, we can get this name, nah, man, pay me every single dollar.
We heard a little bit. Michael Thompson, Clay's dad, sounded like he was kind of walking back some of that. And Clay, by the way, never came out and stood at a podium and say, I will take less money. But there was some very solid reporting that he was thinking about it from well-sourced people. And Michael Thompson may have had a conversation with his son in the interim. I don't know. But Michael did say publicly, I don't know if we're going to actually re-up there. You know, it's more about next year.
You know what? Sometimes it's about saying the right thing at the right time.
Oh, that's an excellent point, Scottie Pippen.
I truly felt like, he was saying the right thing at the right time. Let's not distract what we're on pace to do right now.
Right.
Let's focus on winning a championship. But I think ultimately it's a lot of money to turn down.
Man, 85? Nah.
That's a career.
That is. Now, KD did give a little bit of money back to the Warriors last year, about $10 million. Now, as you point out, when you're talking about the top 2 or 3 players in the league, they really do make that up, especially if they keep winning championships. This year, though, he can opt out of his player option. He's expected to. And Warriors GM Bob Myers said KD has, quote, earned the right to sign whatever deal he wants. He can do whatever he wants. This shouldn't be a long negotiation. So I'm going to show you sort of the menu of options the Warriors are going to put down in front of KD that he has to pick from. But, by the way, this would be a nice menu. If they offered this at a restaurant, I would go to that restaurant. You can sign a 1-year deal for up to $30 million. You can then sign for up to 5 years with a supermax, right? A projected $219 million. That's once the Warriors have his full bird rights. Option 2, sign a 3-year deal for around $114.5 million. Again, that $500,000 is $500,000, not nothing. Option 3, sign a 4-year deal for around $158 million. So if this was your menu, which option would you pick?
Well, if it's my menu and I'm Kevin Durant, right?
Yeah.
Because if it's just my menu and being Elhassan, give me the most money right now because by next week I'll be done.
Someone's going to find you out.
Yeah, they'll find out I'm a fraud. But if you're Kevin Durant, he's at that stratosphere with LeBron James where flexibility is much more important than the security of a long-term deal. And so that.
But he's had more injuries than LeBron.
But he's been relatively healthy in Golden State, save for the Zaza falling into his knee, right? So if you're Kevin Durant, I think you say to yourself, we'll do one more year, and then next year we'll have all the options. Whether I still want to be here or not is irrelevant, but I can then sign the full 5-year thing. But the other thing, here's the other thing why you're one of these guys, you don't want to sign long term. What just happened in the Supreme Court recently?
I believe that gambling was allowed in this establishment.
Okay. And who's trying to get a percentage of every single bet on the NBA?
I believe that would be the NBA. That would go into basketball-related income.
Which means the cap is about to skyrocket.
Could.
Could skyrocket again. So if you're him, you don't want to be caught stuck under a 5-year deal or a 4-year deal under the old math when there's new math bringing new money.
I agree. I think a short-term deal truly works better. It gives the team flexibility. It gives him flexibility to be able to recruit guys year in and year out. But also, I think, like Amin said, long-term, the superstars, they always want to be paid at the top. So if you get caught in a long-term deal, you're going to have a few years where you're not going to be one of the top paid players in the game. And I think Kevin Durant is one of those guys that we know.
And there's a question of how much longer does he want to stay with this franchise forever? And does he think that's good for his legacy? Because maybe then some of the way he got there would quiet down. Or is it one of those things where maybe in a couple years he's got a handful of championships and finals MVPs? And Jalen Rose has been talking about on TV for a week. Would he go to the New York Knicks in a few years and try to sort of reseed that franchise? I mean, there's a whole bunch of options.
And not just him, all these guys. So at some point they're going to say, how many titles is enough, and I want to try something on my own just to see how great I can be.
Different. That's right. And, of course, Kevin Durant has said it's not as much about the championships as it is about personal growth. So, very interesting. All right, coming up, Kobe clapping back at some Twitter trolls.
It wasn't me.
Because he was clapping back at LeBron James. I will explain all of that shortly. This has gotten very complicated because it's the NBA, baby. But first, here is our distant replay presented by Garmin. This date in 1990, Clyde the Glide.
Oh, man.
75-62 with 5:10 to go in the third.
Spike that ball, let him know.
What? Was that an air one or a tip?
Attacking the basket on the dunk and the foul on the play.
Bill Lambier caught one.
That's a questionable set of questionable decisions there.
Body contact. This is down low.
I don't know.
In that era, that's not a foul in that era.
The Jump is brought to you by the original Donut Shop Coffee, America's #1 K-Cup pod. Have your fun. And Garmin. Get a Garmin smartwatch and beat yesterday.
It's a make or miss league.
It's a make or miss league.
I'm not doing that.
It's a make or miss.
It's a make or miss.
It's a make or miss league.
Okay, I must go.
Make diss tracks. Lonzo Ball releasing a diss track directed at Kyle Kuzma. Now, by the way, these two have been going at each other in a friendly way the entire season. They hang together all the time. They are, I wouldn't even say they're frenemies. They're just actually good friends, but they do get at each other. And does Kuz now have to make a response track?
Y'all know what the impetus for this was? Kyle Kuzma had a tweet that was just so savage. We said it on Sports Station yesterday. He was in China.
Right.
He was by a sunglasses rack, and he took a picture of the sunglasses rack and geotagged it China.
Oh.
And tagged, to me, that track was funny, but that tweet was scorched earth.
All right. So maybe this is just fair ups.
Yeah.
I don't know. All right. Miss Proportions. Ellen had Shaq on the show. Made him do daily tasks with tiny hands.
Wow.
How do you feel that Shaq would have done in the league with these very tiny hands? Like, he can brush his teeth pretty well, actually. Oh, God. Oh, no. Oh, yeah, that's...
Shaq was starved to death.
Oh, look, here we go. I actually think he's pretty impressive.
I'm about to say he should shoot, see if he shoots better with little hands.
I'm giving it to Shaquille O'Neal. I am impressed by that. Thank you very much. Make stock. You have heard about the wingspan and the speed, but how about the range? Mo Bamba reportedly shot 80% from three in a workout. When he was here with us, he said he's been doing so much working on his shot since he left school. You guys on the Bamba bandwagon?
I'm on it, man. I mean,
he's fun.
I'm really excited to see how big guys are expanding the game and able to space the floor and not just sitting down in the paint.
And that he's been working at it so much. He did not have this shot in college. I'm sorry.
By the way, 80% in a workout does not mean that.
I know, but look.
Shaq shot 80% from the free throw line in practice.
We know the big men who played in the last era could not have done that even in a workout. Thank you very much.
Shaq was shooting threes in practice. I'm telling y'all, I got a million Shaq stories from practice. He shoot threes.
Please notice, Team USA's under-18 team beat Panama 118-26. Which is a little bit like your Team USA 92 Barcelona days there, Scottie.
They need a mercy rule.
Yeah.
Did you feel bad when you were beating teams like that?
No.
Yo, look at this shot right here.
Right?
Bodman showed me that shot.
No.
Oh, there we go.
That's too much.
It was kind of funny.
It was fun.
Mil Palacios not walking through that door.
Clap packs. All right, a fan came at Kobe and said if Kobe Bryant was on the Heat Cavs instead of King James the past 6 years, he would have 0 rings. Context is everything. Kobe responded by saying we had to face the Spurs every postseason, pretty much. Anyway,
except them 2 times
not to mention the first super team in Boston. But hey, what do I know? So this is so. First of all, Scottie, what do you think about the fact that Kobe's going at people on Twitter over this?
Small talk. He ain't got nothing else to do, so I'm sure he just kind of.
You feel like all the details are done. He's done for the season. All of that
summer
stuff.
League detail or something.
I don't know. I mean, look. There's a whole bunch of stuff to unpack here. This started obviously with the fact that Kobe talked to Bleacher Report about, what LeBron needs to do and where his legacy stands. And he basically threw out the rings, right? That like every other person, there was a bunch of other NBA luminaries quoted in that article, and every other person said, oh, what he's done is so impressive. 9 finals, 8 times straight. He hasn't had the teams. He hasn't been favored in 7 of his 9 finals. So of course he has a losing record, whatever. Kobe was like, yeah, it's about the rings. You got to do whatever you can to win championships. What do you think about all this?
You know what? Kobe is the ultimate competitor. He's basically saying, hey, dig a little deeper, shoot a little more, go out there and empty all your bullets, Don't go home with any bullets left in your game. And he probably felt like LeBron didn't shoot the ball enough. And
I can believe that Kobe thought LeBron didn't shoot the ball
I would
enough.
agree. I would say Kobe's ultimate competitor, and that's what he's doing right now. He's competing on Twitter. He's competing.
Well, in the article too, right? That he's basically trying to reset the discussion. And we've seen him do this a couple times this spring when the whole MJ-LeBron debate was sort of whipped up into the most frenzy. I don't know, when LeBron was during the Boston series and doing all those crazy things or the Raptors series. Kobe comes out with an IG, right? Being like, hey, don't worry, LeBron, Michael Jordan, myself, right? And then he put like how many rings each guy had gotten, 6, 5, 3. And he's like, we're all winners, which is sort of, that's not what anyone was debating.
Nobody but you.
I mean, at the end of the day, the conversation should be really about Kobe and LeBron. Both guys came out of high school, both ultimate competitors. Both guys had to lead their teams in the finals, and how they wreck a pan. Now, I don't think the comparison with Michael and LeBron is even fair, because you're talking about a guy who had college experience, who won a championship,
who had Scottie Pippen
in college, and he was able to get to the finals numerous amount of times with myself. Mm-hmm. So it wasn't like he was like LeBron. LeBron has had to restart. Kobe has had some of those moments where he's had to restart with different groups going to the finals. So those are the comparison that I would rather speak on than Kobe and Michael.
Yeah. And they played in the same era.
Exactly.
Right? It's hard to compare Michael and LeBron because basketball is just so different. Then, at least with those two guys, Kobe and LeBron, they played in the same era.
I do think it's interesting, though, that we are seeing, and I think your point is exactly right, we are seeing competitiveness from Kobe this spring about sort of defending and protecting his legacy and all of that. This is going to be interesting this summer because guess who is one of the major teams wooing LeBron James? The Lakers,
Lakers.
with Kobe's old agent leading the charge.
Yep. Wow.
If LeBron comes to the Lakers, I don't know how that affects how Kobe feels about LeBron on his team and all that. It's interesting. I don't know. It's interesting.
I want to be fair. One quick thing. This isn't a Kobe thing. Every retired player.
It's not.
They all have. You guys can't turn it off. You all have that.
I'm just listening.
Even if it is a Kobe thing, it's not like we didn't know Kobe's competitive.
Yeah.
Right.
No, I'm just saying like the whole don't forget about.
Don't forget about me. Coming up, how can the Warriors stay hungry? We will discuss. But first, here's a flashback to Draymond Green channeling 40 at the 2015 championship parade. It's parade day. We got to show this.
Yup.
Draymond, you are such a...
Klay Thompson, yup. Splash Brothers, yup. Cavaliers, nope. We won, yup. They suck, yup. We here, yup. They not, nope.
I don't know how else to say this, so I'll just say it.
What is it, Linda?
I think we should see other people.
Are you breaking up with me? On a roller coaster?
Well, we do have a lot of fun. Maybe we should stay together.
An emotional roller coaster? Surprising. What's not surprising? How much you could save by switching to Geico.
I just need a little me time.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
In this episode of Detail, if I'm Kevin Durant, I'm looking at taking my game to yet another level. 2 MVPs in the finals is great. Back-to-back championships is great. But there is next season. And I have to get better. And I can get better. So I look at playing the mid-post, the high post, and becoming one of the most dangerous passers in the league from that position. Now here, this is the most important thing I need to add to my game. I gotta become insanely deadly in the post and in the mid post with my passing. My teammates need to be moving and cutting and looking for open opportunities, same way they do when Draymond has the ball. I gotta become an incredible threat with my passing ability here. This, I can do that all day. I'm already great playing one-on-one. Teams have to key in on me, which then frees up shooters on the perimeter or gives me space to operate. But now I want to take my game to another level. So how do I do that? Well, I become the best passer in the post in the game. That's how I do that. When I become as dangerous with the ball here by making reads and making passes, then that just enhances me in the fourth quarter to be able to dominate games offensively. If I can incorporate that into my game, how much more dangerous do we become now? For more analysis, go to Detail on ESPN+.
See, Kobe Bryant's doing stuff. Latest episode of Detail talking about some things KD can work on this offseason after winning back-to-back finals MVPs. Keep an eye for it on ESPN+. That is dropping soon. So, Scottie, we are talking about how the Warriors can stay hungry. You are someone who three-peated twice. Please explain.
Well, you got to set goals. I think it has to be team goals. You have to have individual goals. Just recalling back last season, KD said he wanted to be one of the top defenders in the league. So that was a goal for him last season. He didn't accomplish that, but it was something that he was trying to achieve. And I think it helped spearheaded them a little bit more on the
Well, what did you guys, I remember watching video of you guys, what did you guys do to sort of, that was young Scottie right there. I know at the very beginning it was just let's win another one. But as you got deeper into it, especially that season, that last season that was so crazy, I just remember there were some motivational dead spots there.
It was because, one, the motivation was we weren't going to be together anymore.
Right.
The last season. So that was our motivation. But the other seasons were very tough. It was. You were, one, trying to stay healthy, and two, trying to keep some kind of chemistry out on the basketball court. But also you knew, and especially myself, I played in the Olympics in '96.
Right.
So I was trying to cut my minutes back a little bit. But you just have to find guys that can join your team as part of your bench, that can have that hunger. I heard Steve Kerr say that he wants to go younger. So you go younger, you get guys that you can give those regular season minutes to, and hopefully that'll help keep the team motivated.
Yeah, I don't expect Zaza Pachulia to be around next season. I don't expect Nick Young to be around next season. I don't know what happens to David West. It's funny, we showed at the top of the show the Sports Illustrated cover, and I know the guys have it in the control room again. Look, you faced the same questions that the Warriors are facing now, too. I mean, this is amazing that this was the cover of SI in 1997, and we're getting the same questions about the Warriors. So the Warriors are dealing with this now, too, just like you did.
You know what? I love seeing great teams have a run, and you know, I would love to see another team, as Houston did, rise up to the occasion. They sent them to 7 games. We can't ask for anything more. Mm-hmm. We just need more teams to bring that same sort of competitive fire. And hopefully we can get a better finals as well, because that was pretty disappointing to watch 4 games and not to see the Cavs win a game.
Yeah, no, as far as them staying hungry, I think if you look at Scottie and Michael, but look at who they won the first 3 with, completely different cast of characters. And then along the way, you got guys like Bison Dele, you got guys like Scottie Burrell.
Yeah, look, Dennis Rodman joined that team. Steve Kerr joined that team.
Beyond
Tony
Kukoc. New names, but even beyond the big names, I'm saying even the little role players y'all added along the way were guys who were young enough to help you, but old enough to have been around and know, man, this is special. Yeah. What I've been doing over here. Think about Magic Lakers, mm-hmm. right? Adding a guy like Michael Thompson. Sure. Michael Thompson was the number 1 overall pick. He was the best player for his team and all that, and had been not winning, right? Yeah. He got to Showtime, and I remember I asked Michael, I said, Michael, when you got there, was it hard to adjust? Like, you've been a scorer and all that. You walk in that locker room, was it hard to adjust to figure out, like, are you kidding me? I look over here, it's Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I look over there, it's Magic Johnson. Look over there, it's James Worthy. I'm just happy to be here, right? So you got to have vets who are young enough to contribute, but old enough to be wise, like to know, no, this is special. Yeah. I'm just here to help these guys continue their legacy.
And by the way, that Michael Thompson attitude, I know influences Clay.
Yeah.
Because he has told Clay over and over again, oh yeah, going to your own team and having your own team and being the guy. Been there, done that. It's not as good as being in this kind of thing. That might help them too, sort of stay. If you've got guys on the team, Steph Curry knows what it's like to not succeed in this way. Kevin Durant certainly knows what it's like to not succeed in this way. It helps a little bit.
Well, that's the beauty, that these guys, they were able to watch what LeBron was able to do with the Miami Heat, and now they know that as long as they stay together, this thing could be fun, it could be real, and it could go for a long time.
Oh, yes. Yes, it could. Let's talk about NBA Summer League, because Las Vegas in July, the first time all 30 NBA teams will participate. All 82 games will be shown on ESPN networks, including 40 games in 4 nights to open up Summer League. Wow. You know how the playoff schedule was, slogan used to be 40 games in 40 nights? 40 games in 4 nights. Suckers. Beat that. No, I'm just kidding. Was that the TNT slogan? I thought that was the NBA slogan.
No, that was TNT.
Oh, okay. Well, then NBA, that's fair then. TNT can do, they got carte blanche with me. They can do whatever they want. The tournament will begin July 11th. They will run through the 17th. Amin, you are the unofficial mayor of Summer League. This is your favorite event on the calendar. What do you think about these changes?
First of all, I want to be a big shout out to Albert Hall, Warren Legary, the organizers and the creators.
That is you trying to get a free dinner. So move forward.
Not just one, Warren. Not just one. No, but yeah, but they deserve recognition. They're the ones that had a dream of creating a summer league in Las Vegas and then having a certain amount of teams and then growing it. And then eventually one day they said they'll have all 30. And I remember saying, all right, yeah, right. And here they are. So shout out to them. But I think it's good because everyone's in one place. And I think, the hardest thing was you hear about someone that had a great summer league. Where? In Orlando.
Right.
I don't want to go all the way down there. It's humid over there. It's a small gym because Orlando, a lot of these other places, they have a summer league and it's just like a row of seats around. This is, you got a game-like environment. It's not fun. NBA environment, but it's
the pit, right? I mean,
you get the bleachers. It's loud in that small gym in Cox Pavilion. Last couple of years, they've had the number 1 pick versus number 2 pick playing Thomas and Mack, and they've packed 20,000 people in there.
Players like, vets like you come.
Everyone comes
The older
around.
current players on rosters come.
Yeah, I mean, I believe that this is the best thing that's happened to basketball in a long time, especially for our younger players that's coming into the game. A lot of times they don't get the opportunity to play in the summer league because their team may not be playing.
Mm-hmm.
So this really is going to propel their development, their growth, and teams are going to get a lot more out of their younger players going into the season because they will get that monkey off their back in the summer.
And by the way, the fun thing about Summer League is it's not just for your rookies, for them to get a taste of the NBA, to learn things. Most players coming out of college never heard of floppy, never heard of, any,
start getting
like these kind of sets. But the other thing,
look, here's some of the notable Summer League games. I want to point out our triple header on opening night. We will have Celtics, Sixers, Suns, Mavs, likely battle of the top 5 picks, and Clippers, Warriors. Keep in mind, the Clippers have 2 lottery picks. Right? So I think, first of all, the jump is going to be there. I'm very excited for this. We're going to be taking you into all these games. I think that teams are going to take this pretty seriously, right? And that the kids playing well.
Well, I think they have to take it serious. And I think it's going to give some other guys some opportunities to do some coaching on the sideline because, they can help develop these young players. So.
It's a lab. It's a lab for everybody. Your assistant trainer becomes the head trainer. Your assistant coach becomes the head coach.
We saw Becky Hammond get her first shot at leading a team in Summer League, and her team won.
Right.
We saw Kyle Kuzma show up in Summer League last year.
And not only just the rookies, but then you got second-year players who are coming back and being asked to do things. No one remembers this. Draymond Green in Summer League shooting threes. And I remember my buddy Ethan Strauss was like, why is he shooting threes? He's shooting like 12% in Vegas. Because that was the beginning of him being comfortable taking game threes in game situations and being a leader. He was a leader on that team that I think also ended up winning Summer League. But in terms of wins and losses, I hate to break it to you, America, nobody cares. Well, that's why after the third or fourth game, guys start to sit and all that. It's important to, like, the individual assistant coaches coaching that because he wants to feel good about, or she wants to feel good about themselves. But in terms of no one's coming home from Summer League. I can't believe we were 0-4 out there. What are you doing?
I know, but it's also fun. I'm really excited about going.
It's very fun.
It's going to be great.
And if you have a chance to get out to Summer League, do it.
Or watch it on your TV.
$25 a day. You get in. You can see Scottie Pippen. You can see Rachel Nichols. You can see all these people just walking around.
Don't promise, Scottie. Scottie's got all kinds of plans this summer. Here's what
Vegas.
Maybe could be Vegas.
I'll be there.
Lots of people will be in Vegas. Here's what the Jump recommends today: the latest episode of the Uninterrupted series Trophies. This is very cool because it's LeBron and Draymond Green during the finals. Here is a short excerpt from LeBron's portion. Take a look. All right, you guys ready? Here's my
He's just gonna.
There ain't much you can do to do. You want to ask me what was the greatest achievement of my life? If I'm on the same court as my son in the NBA.
But what do you guys think of the call that they changed?
Oh, the block charge?
Did you know about the rule before
I didn't know
that you could go back and change?
It was ridiculous.
I didn't know about it.
I thought it was the worst thing
ridiculous
ever.
that they changed it.
You know how I felt when they did that to LeBron? I felt like when they robbed us the year Michael was gone.
Hugh Hollins?
I felt that same way.
Yep.
Can you?
Hugh Hollins.
Yeah. No, let's talk. We're going to talk about it tomorrow. Let's talk about it tomorrow because that's a great sentiment, and we'll pull that clip.
That
to me, right?
Hey. That play to me took the gas out of LeBron.
It literally changed everything. See, now y'all know what happens during commercial breaks here. Welcome back to The Jump. All right, Scottie, you asked for it, so we are going to run it back, right?
Right.
How much did the block charge call in Game 1 of the Finals remind you of what happened with you guys?
Well, it reminded me a lot of it because it was a call where I felt like the decision was made by the officials as to who was going to win that game. And I just felt like in that game when the official made that call, I felt like he saw what he saw. And there's no way you can go back and change that call through video. If you make a foul call, it's a foul.
Right.
If you call a charge, it's a charge. You're allowed to go back, in my eye, to go back and make sure that the guy did not get into the violation area. That's the only way I felt like that call could have been changed.
What I was so upset about is he wasn't near the restricted area. Yeah, that's what felt so sort of, and in last 36 seconds of an NBA Finals game, to me, it's just all of that together. He wasn't even close. And to mess with the end of an NBA Finals game, I'm not let him play in every scenario, but in this one, I sure am. Let them play.
Devil's advocate?
Yeah.
They got the call right. I mean, if that
First
was
of all,
that was the correct call.
You could get all the calls right if you use replay.
Yeah, but this was one that they could replay.
And by the way, to that point, if you were going to talk about that in that final minute, in the last 2 minute report that came out the next day,
there was a travel.
There was a Draymond Green foul on LeBron that never got called, so he would have been taking the free throws instead of
but those other things are not available for replay. Right? Like, this thing was available for replay.
This should not have been available for replay because he was nowhere near the restricted area. He was not near the restricted area. He was 3 feet from
I know.
This should not have been available for replay.
But I'm just saying that, why do we have replay? We have replay because we want to get the call right. They got the call right.
You don't get to pick and choose which call you're getting at the end of an NBA Finals.
I sat here or sat somewhere in America, I can't remember where we did the show, and I talked about the fruit of the poisonous tree. Right? But it's still fruit, though. I mean, the difference in what you're talking about with Hugh Hollins and this.
Can you sort of take people through this play, because we're going to show it now.
Oh, let's take a look.
Well, here, I mean, I feel like I just
got all over the arm.
The guy, I didn't feel like there was any contact. And if you look at the replay, there's not any contact. I mean, I clearly tapped the ball.
Certainly by those standards of that.
Oh yeah, got him.
And him falling to the ground. Let's be honest, that was a bit of a.
But I think that
Marcus Smart really scenario.
Got blind on the play.
Right.
Again, a lot like the play with LeBron. The official saw something, but he was blind to most of what he saw. But he blew. And when you blow, you got to have something.
Right.
Well, there are two officials who had two different calls. I think that's the big difference. Here, it was Hugh Hollins making that call. He was the only one making that call. And so in his estimation, you fouled him. That's just it. But in the Warriors case, you had Ken Maurer calling charge.
But again, that's not what they reviewed.
Tony Brothers calling block.
They used the rule about the restricted area as a fake out to check on the block charge. You can't do that. That is a level of meddling and tampering
they claim they didn't know.
I know, and I get it. And look, I'm going to
they didn't know who was in the restricted area.
I am going to pound.
I'm just telling you.
I have to agree.
I feel like I got to be Brian Windhorst
right now. Of the restricted area. Look, that they didn't even have to go back and do a replay.
I was going to say, and look, I am the one who sits up here and says, I'm a big fan of the 2 minute report, and I am. And by the way, anyone who complains about officials overall, again, go watch college basketball and get back to me. So in general, I am a fan of what the NBA referees do. In this case, no one is perfect though, and in this case, I am going with no on this one.
We're going to just give the coaches 2 challenges.
I love the idea.
And then we don't review anything else that's not.
I love
three-pointer
challenges
or step out of line.
I would feel.
To me, we should never have a replay for anything other than was it a 3-pointer or not, or did he step out of bounds or not. All this other stuff, we don't need to review it unless a ref.
They're going to test out coaches' challenges, and I think, is it the G League or Summer League? Summer League. They're going to test out coaches' challenges. I am so for this. I think that would help clear up a lot of this, make fans feel that reviews were more justified. We got to get to this, though, because who we have on this panel. In a video provided by Black Sports Online, reporter Sheena Davis spoke to Gary Payton and asked if he thinks LeBron will take his talents to the West Coast. Take a listen to what the glove said.
Anything can happen. I do. People don't look at everything. His son just committed to Sierra Canyon, which is in the valley of LA. That's where his son is going to go to school with Scottie Pippen's son and Kenyon Martin's son. So that's a move that they're going to make.
So Gary Payton brought up your name in that, and Sierra Canyon is, of course, where your son goes to school. Can you enlighten us on any of this?
Well, I mean, I kind of made a few calls yesterday, and from what I'm hearing, nothing is official yet. So it's not to say that it can't happen.
Wait a minute.
Nothing is official.
Look, you know what's happening here?
Nothing is official.
We're getting a super team in high school now.
Well, there's 2 things going on here, and I want to be super clear, because this clip, you're probably watching this clip right now online if you're not watching on live TV, and people are going to replay this. I don't like anybody sort of tracking where the kids may or may not go to school as a way of trying to predict free agency. I don't care who your dad is. That's just not really fair to the kid. It's
Creepy,
not.
man.
It's. I don't like it. The only reason we're bringing it up on the show is because you're actually here, and you might have some insight into knocking this down a little bit. I mean, look, obviously, if in 2 or 3 weeks LeBron James decides to come to the LA Lakers, it's entirely possible his kid could go to that school because it's a good school and you guys have a good basketball team.
As I
but
say,
that has
as of
nothing
now.
right. But that has nothing to do with anything committed.
Yes.
You can knock down the story that he is committed to play there, right?
I wish I could.
Really? Wait,
I mean, here's my thing. If I was LeBron,
I don't want to knock it down.
All right, okay.
If I'm LeBron and I'm trying to confuse all of you people trying to figure out where I'm going to go, I'm going to apply to 7 different schools all over the country and put in because it's a deposit. You got to put a deposit down. Okay.
It's so ridiculous, right? The whole, I don't know if it was All-Star break or right. LeBron's looking at schools in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
He was like in Mexico or something.
No,
and he was
it doesn't
IGing
matter.
from Mexico and they're like,
Doesn't matter. I'm telling LeBron, trust me on this one. Just apply for them in every different city, 30 different cities.
I think we just wait. I think
all right.
LeBron will make a decision here.
Yes,
Scottie
exactly.
knows.
All right. See,
Scottie knows. that's
I don't know.
in the end, you got to listen to Scottie Pippen. All right, coming up, the Raptors hired a new coach. We will discuss that. But first, here's our second distant replay of the day, year 1990, this date. Mr. Joe Dumars, take a look.
1 second on the shot clock. Dumars, arcing shot, makes it. Boy, those are killers. Watch out, Dumars lost this shot up skyward.
I know a lot of you probably expecting to see Joe, but his father passed away this afternoon, and he didn't know anything about it. And he made one shot today, going down the lane. The shot clock was running down, and he threw it real high in the air. And it went in, and we kind of looked at each other and smiled, and I said to myself, your dad threw that one in.
The Jump is brought to you by LG OLED TV with AI ThinQ.
Our next WNBA matchup Wednesday, 7 Eastern on ESPN2. Washington Mystics taking on the Connecticut Sun. And you can watch that live on the ESPN app.
Shout out to Tune.
The Raptors hiring assistant Nick Nurse to become the franchise's new coach, according to Woj, of course. Nurse finalizing contract terms, but met with President Masai Ujiri and GM Bobby Webster on Tuesday morning to accept the job. Now, he's 50 years old. He replaces Dwayne Casey, who he'd worked under for the past 5 seasons. What does this hire tell you, Amin, about the Raptors' plans?
Well, first of all, I know Nick Nurse. Nick Nurse, it says there, 2 titles in the G League. One of those, he was coaching for our affiliate in Phoenix. He was the Iowa Energy head coach. I spent some time down there with him and that program down there. He's a very smart coach. He's got a great positive attitude. And I believe some of the stuff they did differently offensively this year, he was kind of the offensive coordinator on that stuff for the Raptors. But what it tells me is they kind of liked the direction they were moving in, because if you didn't like what was happening, to me, I would have clean house.
But, Scottie, can't you like the direction but want a new voice at the top? Who the head voices in the locker room does make a difference, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think it does make a difference, but I think also when you look at the stride that this team made over the last couple of years, they don't want to go backwards. So It's good that they kind of stayed in-house with their hire, and hopefully they can continue to build on what they were able to do last season. That was to have the best record in the East, but only to get swept.
Right. It's interesting because the Raptors had a window there, and I'm not saying that window is over at all, but the Celtics are coming. The Sixers are coming. We don't know what's going to happen with the Cavs, with LeBron and all that. I mean, it's only getting tougher in the East, I would say, next season as opposed to this season.
Right.
So we'll see what happens. Speaking of the Celtics, this just in at the buzzer. Kyrie Irving speaking to reporters in Boston saying he is not considering signing an extension with the Celtics. Mm-hmm. Chris Forsberg tweeted this quote from Kyrie. Quote, contractually, financially, it just doesn't make any sense. Mm-hmm. I can't disagree with him, right?
He's absolutely right.
This isn't a loyalty test. This is a money thing.
This is every NBA player goes through this. Every NBA player of note, right? Especially what we talked about. If this cap is going to go up, it makes no sense to lock into today's prices when you wait a year and you can get the current value then.
And flexibility, right? As you said, it's good to keep the franchise.
Yeah, I mean, these players know they figured it out, The longer you wait, the more money you're going to make. Mm-hmm. And long-term deals are gone not important in the league anymore.
What do you guys think of the current of people saying maybe LeBron should consider going to the Celtics? How do you think Kyrie would feel if LeBron showed up in his new team?
They should trade Kyrie for LeBron. I was like, man, don't do that to Kyrie.
It's the second season, baby. It's going to be like this for the next few weeks. We'll see you tomorrow. Sports Nation's next.